Hello and welcome to another VanHack Success Case interview. My name is Ilya. I'm super excited today to be joined by Humaira, who is the CEO and founder at Locelle. And she has recently hired a VanHacker and is here to share her experience. Thanks so much for being here with us, Humaira.
Thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure. And before we get into it, love to hear more about yourself and also about Locelle.
Yeah, I'm the founder and CEO of Locelle, which is a mentorship platform dedicated to advancing women in the workplace. And my background, I am an immigrant from Pakistan myself, moved to Toronto, Canada about 15 years ago, and have been in the tech industry for over a decade, and have had my company Locelle for 3 years. So yeah, it's been an exciting journey.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw recently you guys hit that 3-year mark. Congrats on the anniversary. That's always fun.
Thank you so much. It's like 30 years.
Yeah, it's like dog years, I guess. Startup years, they multiply.
Totally. Yeah,
Awesome.
love it.
Let's get into it. So you were, startup founder, got your company, looking to grow. How was the process of hiring developers before VanHack? Like, what was that, previously?
Painful, one word. And I think it's because, I live in Victoria. Most of our, talent came from Victoria initially. And, it's war on talent everywhere, as you know. And in Victoria, being a small town, we're not only competing with other startups who are venture-backed, and for context, we are bootstrapped. So it's hard to compete with the venture-backed startups, let alone competing with companies like Workday, Microsoft, Amazon, with their offices here, right? So yeah, and then the island is really small, Victoria, Vancouver Island, and so a lot of competition. So yeah, it was really hard, and I would say that the process would often take a lot of networking, getting to know people, and then good people know good people. So they would say good things about me and the company, and then that's how we would do it. But it would take quite a long time, I would say 6 months to a year, in finding the right fit. So painful. Yeah.
Wow. 6 months to a year. That does sound painful. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so what kind of sparked your interest, and why did you say, you know what, hey, this VanHack company sounds kind of crazy, but let's give it a shot?
No, absolutely. And I think it's also knowing people is really important, and it goes with any, business. Like, trust needs to be there. And I would, run into amazing people at VanHack, including yourself, at different tech events. And I was like, wow, like what you're doing is amazing. And also, being an immigrant myself, I know firsthand how challenging it can be to find work in your field. And so, yeah, so I think I just loved the people, the brand, and what you were doing to start with. But as a startup, I think I had this kind of misconception of, oh my gosh, we are already bootstrapped. We don't have all these funds to pay a recruitment agency or, anybody, a third party. So I think that was the big barrier. But also, I think we were at a point, especially when the pandemic hit, we wanted to be really mindful with what we were continuing to build, who we were hiring. And also, one of the challenges we had in the past, Ilya, is, we are a platform for women. And the male developers we had in the past, yes, they were building it, but they didn't quite understand. And I don't doubt or question them. I think it's just, they just couldn't understand the need for it, and couldn't contribute beyond, okay, what do you want me to build? Right. So I think, and that's where I really wanted to find, a woman developer who could understand the market, the pain points, and also help be part of the actual product development roadmap, as well as what it looks like. And so I think that's where I wanted to work with a woman developer in this case. So had a bias there based on experiences. And then, we looked at the market here. There's very few developers, female developers in Victoria, in Vancouver, and every big company wants to hire them, right? So I think the war on talent on the women developers is even higher.
Right.
And so for me, I just felt like, okay, I had, previous to working with VanHack, worked with about 3 developers, all men from Victoria. And it was a good experience, but it wasn't, we had challenges. And so when we were looking to hire, I thought, why not give it a shot? Let's see, I'm dedicated to hiring a woman, where do I find these women? So I think from that perspective too, VanHack made it really easy. We got different resumes. It wasn't just women, we also got men's resumes, but overall we just found the right fit within that. In
Nice.
one of the hires. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So let's talk about then, like, from the time when you said, okay, let's give this a shot, to when you made the actual hire. Like, how was that process? How long did it take? How many interviews? How was that kind of?
I think the process of hiring was pretty smooth. Like, I was pretty much shocked at how smooth it was, because there was this whole, like, first we got pre-vetted. We shared the needs of what we were looking for, what the tech stack we had. And then based on that, we got a pre-vetted, qualified pool of candidates. So that was the one thing done. Like, we didn't have to come in and interview for skills and stuff like that extensively, which was nice. And then, the next step was for us, we had a pre-vetted pool. From there, we just had really 2 interviews. One, I always do this, like, just 15-minute vibe interview, like, just for the energy. And we found 2 great candidates through VanHack right off the bat that I felt really good about. And that's when we had the technical interview. So that was pretty quick too. And from there, we found one person, Danielle, to be ideal fit, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So from the time that, we connected, recruited VanHack, to actually deciding on who we wanted to work with, it was very quick. So yeah, with the skills, with the cultural fit, yeah, it's fantastic.
Awesome. That's really cool to hear.
Not painful.
Yeah, painless. Nice.
Yeah, painless.
So then how's it been so far? So Danielle's joined the team and been contributing. What's it been like? How's she been doing? How was the first few months?
I will say this, I've been pleasantly surprised beyond anticipation. And it's not because, oh, I'm a woman, so I've hired a woman and I feel good about this situation. I think it's just been, even seeing how she approaches product development is so refreshing. She asks so many questions that nobody asked me. Maybe they thought I didn't know, so why bother? But I am, at the leadership, I decide the vision for the company. But, one of our values is curiosity. She brings that to the table. And just being able to ask, so that she's not building based on her assumptions. So I think just even the process of communication is fantastic. Like, she's so curious. She will ask the good questions that will give her the, answers to move forward. But also, she's so great at even communicating, the requirements. Like, it's refreshing. I will say this, that just being able to communicate in an effective way, I have never had that. So there's that. And then also her experience is just such a good fit, even though, part of what we were doing was very complex when she started. She took it on. So she had this, like, again, also another value of ours is growth mindset. And she had that. She jumped right in. We connected her with this other architect and she made it happen. And at Locelle, and I think with many startups, we want people who make things happen.
Yeah.
And she has the right mindset. She has the skills. And in some ways, I think she's surprised me more in a good way with how much she can get done, how quickly she can get it done, how she asks good questions. And now maybe Ilya, you're like, you should have hired her. Anyway, just saying, I mean, she's amazing. So I think that I wish I had took this leap before. And I think startups have this mindset of, oh, we're like so scrappy, we're so lean, we cannot hire, a recruitment, company like yours, but very well worth it. I would say, like, every startup should explore this. And yes, it might cost you a bit more, but really does it? Because in the long run, if this candidate is an amazing, so I think opportunity cost, like, it's not as high as initially it seems. It can be painful to hear, but it's like, like, think about all the work that's getting done. And again, with Danielle, because she's so amazing, like, I just think that we hit jackpot.
Yeah, that's what we strive for, and that's really cool to hear. I guess one thing I'll say is that, and sometimes just on the cost thing, I always think about it like, what would you pay if you like knew that this person was going to stay for 2 years, 3 years at your company
Totally.
and really add like, let's make a list of 15, 20 different features that they build. And maybe adding, a percentage, let's say, a percentage on top of their salary. Would that like, would it be worth it, right? And I think a lot of times the answer is yes. And thinking about the rock stars that we have on our team, or the great developers we have on our team, or great people we have on our team in all roles, definitely worth the investment if you have that mindset. And then versus like, okay, you can't fill that role for 1 year, so all that lost time and all your competitors building product, et cetera, especially when you're a startup and you have to move fast.
Oh gosh, yeah. And I think this even with I still believe with what we're doing, like sell before you build, but we have so much more confidence. And I think that's probably it too. I think when you're not strapped for cash, because 1 year, I would say before now, it would be hard to see what do we look like 1 year from now. Now it's super easy for us to see, like way easier. And that is exciting, right? Because then we're like, okay, this person can then evolve into a leadership role. And then I think that potential is there too, because of course, as we grow, we're going to hire more people and then also invest in the leadership for them to really help them grow their career too. I just think that possibilities are endless. And you're right, the opportunity cost, when you really think about it from the right mindset and not, oh, it's going to cost me this. It's like, well, how much is it going to save me in the long run? And just shift that mindset. I think it well worth every penny. So
like how many extra customers are you going to get from all the features that this company is going to build, and et cetera.
Exactly.
Sure. Curious though, so you mentioned your startup. Like, how many people are on the team? How many people are on the dev team? Like, what's the stage?
So we are a team of 8 now, and we have Danielle on the team, one person senior developer, and then we have another junior developer that we've just hired to finish a project. And then in future, we're looking to launch our kind of MVP of this new platform in like, late spring or so. And then at that point, it's about really, it's for scalability, efficiency, and all those things. So at that point, I think we will probably be looking at making another hire, especially on the tech side, to make sure that, Danielle's well supported and she can take more of the, yes, she'll be involved in the coding as well, but really, even the management of the product and the infrastructure really to scale. We'll see. Definitely, I think there's a lot of opportunity coming up for us as we want something just out like MVP and just start using it and then see how we can scale that. So future looks bright.
Get those mentor session matching going, right?
Exactly. And we want to just optimize and automate a lot of the hassle part, right? We want it to be a hassle-free experience. And there will always be a human, person involved. I believe we need that for professional development. But I do think that there's a lot of things that are just repeatable and can be scaled through technology.
Nice.
Yeah.
So just, did I hear that right? Is she's the lead developer or the senior developer on the team, and there's another junior, so it's just her and one more person?
Yeah.
Wow, awesome. And I mean, maybe this is a little biased, but the people you hire in the beginning are like the core kind of key of your culture and your foundation.
Yeah.
So it's very important.
Absolutely. And I can also say this, that the junior developer that we hired, and this person I had known for a long time. So again, curiosity, that hunger, that growth mindset, she would just always make herself known, like, I'm here, want to work here. Opportunity came, we hired her. And this is also interesting because now Danielle is having to, look into this as like, okay, now I have a person, what can I give to her that adds value to the work that we're doing, and not extra work that takes away from Danielle's job. So I think I'm also, impressed in that capacity, because even the questions she asks me, I haven't even thought of those questions. Like, okay, do I treat this person as an intern or do I treat this person as a junior developer? Because the feedback will be in accordance to that. And I was like, I never thought of it that way. No, they're a junior developer. It's like, okay. So I think just even asking those questions makes me a better leader, because now I think of when I hire people moving forward, is what kind of feedback should they get based on what they're hired for?
Definitely, yeah. So, and that's actually cool. So Danielle's kind of like the leading a team now, and Yeah, maybe become
Totally.
one day, who knows?
Totally. Actually, for us, again, we could be next year, we could easily double the team. And so for us, it's like, if we have somebody great, and especially the attitude, right? Like that is everything. You have the right attitude, growth mindset, passion for what you do. I think that that's fantastic. And she has those things. So I am happy to, I was actually sharing with her, hey, there's this opportunity for like a CTO or like a senior developer to do this. I don't know, it's an accelerator that just was launched. And she was like, okay. She's probably like, I'm not a CTO. But for me, it's, once you hire the right people and you see those qualities that you would want as we grow, why not her? And if we can provide her with those opportunities to step into that leadership role, why not? So yeah, no, I think we feel really, really happy, like almost like safe in a way. It's a weird word, but that she can help us get there.
Yeah.
Confidence, I guess.
Yeah, confident. No, for sure. I think that's really exciting, and I'm sure there's a platform out there that can help connect her to some CTOs who can mentor her through that process, right?
Yes, well, we can make that happen too.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm working on that.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. Well, Amara, thank you so much for joining us. Just maybe last question for me is what tips you have for other startup founders who are, maybe in the first 2-3 years of their company looking to hire tech talent. Of course, other than hiring from VanHack, what else would you say maybe on the interview process or kind of how you approach it? What wish you knew maybe a year ago?
Yeah, I think hire people based on even just part of what we now do is where are motivations for these people. I think that really, really matters because, yes, we're a startup, but, we offer a lot more flexibility and growth opportunities than say a big company would. So, just even asking the questions about, okay, how much does salary matter? How much does growth matter? How much does flexibility matter? And how much does, just even working for a startup that's constantly challenging you matter? So that is what we now do, is like we rank people, we ask people those questions. And then if somebody wants like a really high salary, you're not a good fit because you're going to move on. But yeah, if you're looking for a decent salary, like we're not paying pennies, it's like, like decent salary, but a lot of growth opportunities, perhaps some stock options, and you see potential in what we're doing. Like that is really higher for motivations, what those motivations are. And then also look beyond your circle. I think COVID silver lining would just be also that we have all opened up our eyes. Like we're all working. We actually have people in Montreal, Calgary right now, Vancouver, and I think I'm the only one in Victoria right now, or actually the junior developer also is here. So yeah, I mean, it's fine as long as we have core hours. We all are available within those hours. The rest of the time, I don't care as long as the job gets done. You're updating your stuff. So I think just opening up your mind to where talent is, what works for you. And as we continue to grow, we want to be a global company. We are a global company. We have some people outside of Canada. And so, yeah, I mean, we need to be open-minded and filter people through some of your, of course, core values, but also motivations, I think has been really, really helpful for us.
Yeah, for sure. In the early days, it's so much more important to have people who are on board with the mission or just ready to put in that extra little bit, or sometimes extra lot. That's needed to get.
And also interview. One of the mistakes I made earlier was that I would just be so happy to find someone, and I think over time you believe more in what you're doing. I mean, sure, in the start it's like, yeah, we're gonna move mountains, like great. And then within the 1 year, you really understand the reality of startups. And then you're like, it can be defeating, as you're growing. But I think, I would just be so happy to find someone with the right skill set, with a decent attitude. But I think now I was like, no, we need to interview. So now I actually have this process where I don't care if it's an admin position or a leadership, we're going to interview at least 5 to 6 good candidates and then decide on that. And I didn't do that before. So it worked out okay, but yeah, it could be really dodgy.
I relate 100% on that. That was one of my biggest leaks in my game early on. I was like, you have a pulse and you want to help me, you're hired.
Exactly. You seem nice, great. We'll learn together, figure it out.
Yeah.
No, there's so many amazing people that want to work with you, and you want to work with people who want to be there, and help you be better. So yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, Danielle's, I cannot code, but I love people who are better than me. It's like, it's fantastic. It makes us better as a company. So yeah, always hire people better than yourself. And if you think, this is also a misconception I had, if you want to work with someone and you think they're going to be very expensive, find a way, approach that person, and find ways to make it happen. Because even senior leadership, people in senior leadership, a
Mhm.
lot of them, they may not care for that money. They want to do good work. So make it happen. But don't assume that you can't hire somebody because you can't afford them and they're out of reach.
Nice. Those
Shoot
are
your
awesome
shot.
tips. Yeah. Yeah. I think the whole thing of like using your perceived weakness as a startup as a strength and flipping the table,
Mhm.
flipping the script is a really, really good advice. And yeah, so again, Humera, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your experience.
Thank you.
Any kind of last words? Did I miss anything? Do you want to share? Or I think we're good. Or what do you think?
I think what you're doing is great. I'm really excited for the possibilities. And I know for us, the time that we can save even in the future, as we grow, I think it's so much worth it. So I think the mindset has changed for me. And I would encourage, especially startups, where they probably think, oh, we can save this money here or there. No, please, it's so much easier to go through a company like VanHack where they have pre-vetted people, make it easy, and it's a long-term investment. Unless you don't know where you're headed, in which case I don't know what to say. But yeah, I would say as a startup, don't cheap out on talent.
Yeah, you are who you hire, and I really appreciate that, Humera. Thank you for the kind words.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. I was going to say something that I just completely forgot now, but yeah, just thanks so much for that and sharing.
You are welcome.
Cool. Great.
Awesome.
All right. Well, if you're listening to this and you want to hire some great talent, just go to vanhack.com, click on hiring, sign up, and we'll help you with your next great tech hire as well. Cheers.